Gonna do the. Hi, I'm Candy from Candy Palooza. I'm so excited to speak with you, Joe. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's nice to meet
Absolutely. Your Instagram account, your social accounts,
you.
they are amazing.
I appreciate
And
it.
I'm like, I get chills because it's just such amazing and beautiful work. And thank you. Thank you for sharing your gifts.
Oh no, it means the world to me. I mean, it's why I do it. I think it's really like awesome for people to both be like entertaining is like the number one goal, but then obviously like if I can also inspire people or elicit like any sort of like positive emotions, that's great for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I am sure that you just get messages just constantly like, how do I do this? How do I get started? Whatever,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are here talking about FacePlant, the series, web series on Million Stories Media.
Mhm.
Talk to us a little bit about how you were approached, how you got started, what made you decide to do it.
Yeah, so I got approached through a friend of mine who runs Pollution Studios, who produced the episode for A Million Stories, and I was kind of just sent their like portfolio of like the previous season, and as soon as I saw like what their mission was and the stories that they told, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like I would love to be able to like share my story. I know that there were parts of it that were like kind of intense and like heavy, but I think that it's really important to talk about the things that I talked about in the episode about mental health and about face planning and how you rise above that.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, your story is incredible. And, from the start, when you first started and the first your first post that went viral was the one that The Rock shared, right?
Yes, yeah. On at least on Instagram, that
Mhm.
was like what started, I think, like that platform for me, which lent itself to me being able to do this full time. But yeah, he was the Kickstarter for that. Absolutely. It definitely changed the trajectory of my life, which just goes to show if you have influence like he does, it can be such a small thing that can help somebody else, like start their own path. So I think paying it forward is like a really cool concept.
I love that. Yes, and I feel that, as influencers, you absolutely do. You spark a tiny glimmer of hope in just an everyday person because you are an everyday person.
Yes, yeah, totally. I
I
love that because it can be more true. I try to share like all of my journey and like not just the pretty things, but I
Mhm.
think it's always important to remember like content is curated.
Right.
So we see like just a sliver of people's lives, and a lot of people just put forward like the positive stuff. And I think that it's good to show that we are human. So
Right. Absolutely. So when you were shooting for the series, can you kind of share, some of the things that you were thinking about, maybe that you didn't share during the filming or that didn't make it onto the series? Can you kind of share a little bit about that?
yeah, so the shoot day was really long actually. It was like a huge day and I was asked like so many questions. And then of course it's only cut into 8 minutes.
Right.
So there was so much that I talked about. I think that like recalling specifics of like something that didn't make it. I know that the main focus was like the face plant, like the struggle, and then like the rising above that. So,
Yeah.
but of course, like there were so many like cool moments I've had like in this career so far that obviously like I talked about some highlights, but um there have been like so many things that I'm proud of that, it's I recently even just put that out there. I was like, I don't really like humble brag ever, but I deserve to
Mhm.
like recall my accomplishments and be like, these
Yeah,
really cool things
absolutely.
happen. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
there has been a huge amount of good that's happened. So
I love that. I
yeah.
love it. And I think it's wonderful. You did share, obviously, and you've said that it's important that you want to share, the aspects of the mental health and the importance. Being that I am, my husband is active duty, mental health, is one of the things that, the military community, they struggle with and they sometimes they don't put it out there, sometimes they do. And it's like, so I think important to definitely put that out on your platform. Um,
Yeah,
so
absolutely. When I first started sharing my mental health journey, it was even at the time like way more stigmatized than it is now. And I
mhm,
think it's through people like feeling that connectedness and like having these forums to speak about it that it's become like incredibly less stigmatized than it was even when I started, because that was like 2014, 2015. So I've seen a huge change since then.
yeah, that's amazing. And thank you. And, I appreciate, I know a lot of other people appreciate, you sharing it because like we said, we're everyday people and everyday people go through all kinds of things. But there's been a lot of positives too. So that's a wonderful thing. Can you share, since the series has gone live, can you share anything else that you have done with the notoriety from your faceplant episode?
Sure. So, I mean, I think that it just more than anything gave people like another look inside. Like, I've always shared my journey, but I don't think to that extent. And so I had a lot of people, just like even audience members that I've had, but people who have come to my page like new, who have talked about like the impact that it had on them. So I think that that's very cool. So like more than like anything else, like that is why I do what I do, and that's like the most rewarding part is to hear that from just like everyday people. Like to me, that's the coolest thing. So and like I've gotten messages over the years. I remember like really specifically, I had a mother reach out and say her young like preteen daughter had been like contemplating taking her own life, and it was she had found like hope through something that I had posted, and I was like, oh, like I still get like goosebumps and chills about it because it really does show you the impact that you can have on people. Um,
Absolutely.
so even that episode I know has like touched people, and I think that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it was such a great, obviously, the premise of it is that, you were doing great, then all of a sudden it's like, oh,
Yeah.
but it's just that's part of life. And I feel like it's important to share those moments, when you have a platform, um, to, the younger generation, because I mean, my son, he's 12 and he's like, I want to be an animator, I want a YouTube channel. So what advice do you give to your younger audience, or to the younger audience out there that's going to watch also this video?
Yeah. So I mean, you say animator, and so for specifically for the arts, I think it's you want to go into it not comparing yourself to everybody else. Like for me, it's always about like rising above my own challenge. Like I want to compete against myself. I look at what I did 5 years ago and I'm like, I can do it better now. So I think it's for me, one of the most important things has been, you know, not comparing myself, because I think that puts you'll never feel good enough. And I think that that applies to being a content creator as well.
Oh yeah.
So it does, but I think specifically with the arts, you're so sensitive because you're making this thing and it's like your baby, and then you put out in the world. And then if somebody says something negative about it, you're like, and it took me a while to get over that, because I realized the people who are the type of people who are going to comment negative things or mean things are probably struggling themselves. And
Right.
it's just a matter of like, okay, ignoring you, like I'm not going to let you into my like personal bubble. I'm not going to let you like affect me. And I'm
Yeah.
going to keep persevering because I yeah, I'm my own worst critic at the end of the day. So like, I don't need to then compare myself to other people or to listen to those outside voices. And I think that's really important for the younger generation. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I struggle with imposter syndrome. So
Totally. I think most people do, genuinely.
yeah.
Like, the fake it till you make it thing never ends. You just keep faking
Right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's a struggle. And I admire the people that are just like, no, whatever. Yes, I'm this and great. I'm like, oh, yay,
It'll
you're
and it will
you.
still sometimes get to you. The thing is, like, as much as I've like built my like little safe zone and have my bubble and like all that, there'll be like a bad day and you'll read a comment and like you'll just feel bad about it. And I think you can still sit with those feelings. For
Right.
me, it's really important to have
Your feelings matter.
resources, have
Absolutely.
community, I've been in therapy for like a decade. So it's
I
really
love
important to have
therapy.
Yeah. So those resources are really important.
Yeah, awesome. So, one question real quick before we
Yeah.
get off. I loved your video of the Survivor buff because I love Survivor, and I was like, oh,
Thank you so much. Yeah, I have been I like during like the lockdown essentially I got into Survivor and I binged the like all the seasons and I became like such a super fan. So it was really cool to like have that makeup be like a sponsored thing because
yeah,
whenever I do like any sort of like branded or sponsored post, like the hope is like I really love it and
right.
like that's like it's so cool when it aligns like that. And I think
Absolutely. And
it's
it'll keep
so exciting.
aligning like that for you too. It totally will.
Yeah.
It absolutely will.
I want to go on the show someday.
I was
So
going to ask you that. I was going to say, so,
yeah.
they're accepting applications right now,
Yeah,
right?
I
Get your
do.
manager on that.
I'm getting really fit right now. I've been
You
like,
are exactly.
yeah. So I'm gonna,
You're getting ready. Like
yeah, yeah.
you're training for it and you didn't even know it.
Yes, yeah, totally. So I think I will apply at some point, to be honest.
They're
Yeah,
accepting applications right
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
So when I see you on it, we're going to take this clip and I'm going to be like,
Totally.
we manifested
Yes, I
Survivor.
love that. Yeah,
Yes, I'm so excited. I can't wait. And I know it's going to happen.
yeah, yeah,
Totally going to
totally,
happen. So
totally.
yes, to keep training and
Yes, I'm going to. Hmm.
oh yeah, it's such a fun show.
I agree.
And one more thing,
Yeah.
you have a new pet.
Yes.
I just saw, I was like, how is life with Obi?
He is so smart. I can't even begin to explain it. Like to the point where like my dogs are confused. Like they don't like he's outsmarting them already. He's only 4 months old. He's a kuni pig. I rescued him from a family who like grew bored of him, they said. I know. Uh he hasn't been to a vet, none of that stuff. But I'm actually in the process of like building him, like I have a bunch of coyotes where I live, so I'm building him like this big, like enclosed
Yeah, I
space.
was gonna say enclose it. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So I love him so much. I'm such an animal talk to me in another 5 months, I probably will have more animals. So yeah, so
That's
it's been great.
exciting.
Yeah.
Well, again, I loved your episode. It was amazing. Thank you for sharing, your a sliver of your life with us and your vulnerabilities. Um, you definitely made the web series. You just added so much more to it. It just a great amount. And thanks to Million Stories Media
Yeah.
for letting us speak today. So thank you so much, Joe.
Yeah,
And
thank you. I appreciate it so much. That's so sweet.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much fun. All the success to you. And I'll see you
And
in
to you as
Survivor.
well. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.